In the second year of my long-distance relationship with Sophie, I took a trip down to Austin. The only reason I went was to help my best friend Kyle deal with a really messy situation involving his cheating girlfriend. I honestly didn't have any intention of running into Sophie while I was down there. I certainly didn't expect to see her out for dinner with that transfer student she knew. She probably thought I was going to cause a huge scene, considering how I used to act back in high school. But I didn't. Instead, I just acted like I didn't even see her. Kyle had unfortunately become the unwilling star of a viral video about a cheating scandal, so I tagged along to Austin to give him some backup and support. He and his girlfriend had been together since they were in middle school, but apparently all that time together was no match for the excitement of meeting someone new. She had been seeing this other guy since her freshman year began. I remember last Christmas Eve very clearly. I was in our dorm room editing some videos while Kyle paced back and forth, absolutely freaking out about what he was going to say to her. He told me she was coming to visit him all the way from Austin. Looking back on it now, I have to wonder if she was thinking about Kyle during that long trip, or if she was thinking about the guy she left behind in Austin. By the time we checked out of the hotel, it was late. Kyle's 6-year relationship was officially dead. It was sad to think that a love that started back in high school had to end in such a pathetic, messy way. Kyle put on his sunglasses to hide his swollen, bloodshot eyes. Our Uber arrived just as the girl ran out of the building. Her hair was a mess, and her face was full of desperation. As the car pulled away from the curb, I caught her eye. She looked like she had seen a ghost. Honestly, she was probably just annoyed that her perfect cover story had been blown so quickly. Neither of us knew the city of Austin very well, so we had to rely on Yelp and Google Maps to figure out where to eat. I heard there was a great hot pot place nearby, and asked Kyle softly if he wanted to try it, while looking at a food blog on my phone. His nose was still a little red from crying, but he nodded and agreed. "Yeah, let's go," he said. After a few wrong turns, we finally found the spot. The place was decked out in bright red decorations, and some high-energy pop music was blasting from the speakers. Kyle and I were looking over the menu when a loud group of college students walked in. They looked like athletes, a mix of guys and girls in sleeveless jerseys. Kyle and I can't handle much spice, so we ordered a half-and-half broth pot. While we were waiting for the food to arrive, I checked a few work emails on my phone. A notification from Sophie popped up on my screen. Our school had a volleyball match against State today. "Guess who won?" the message read. I glanced at it, but didn't tap into the chat to open it. The little red bubble on her chat icon said 32. This was our second year of doing long distance, and the second year since she had secretly applied to the University of Texas at Austin, without telling me. I had already moved to Chicago for school when I got the text letting me know she was going there. The heart that used to skip a beat every time I saw her had pretty much died that day. Kyle nudged my arm and pointed at the group sitting across from us. "Man, I was so stupid," he muttered. "What did I even see in her? Literally any girl in here is a step up." As he kept venting his frustrations, I recognized a few faces in that group. Sophie was there. She was sitting right next to Ryan, the transfer student. Ryan was looking at her like she was the center of the universe. Sophie, however, was staring at her phone, her expression dark and gloomy. A second later, another text popped up on my screen. "I won the MVP trophy. There were so many prizes, but I picked out this limited edition model kit for you. It should arrive in Chicago in a few days. Do you like it?" Then she sent a photo of the kit. I flipped my phone face down on the table just as our food arrived. Kyle had ordered pig brains, using the logic that, "We're already here, might as well try it." I watched him drop them into the boiling broth, while he took a bite of a fried mochi cake. "Hey, Liam," Kyle said. "Isn't your girlfriend at UT? You want to go see her while we're in town?" I swirled some sliced beef in the pot and shook my head. "No point." He nodded thoughtfully and didn't push the subject. Instead, he started eating with a newfound appetite, planning out what we should do tomorrow. He wiped his nose. "I'm not wasting another tear on that trash," he declared. "I'm gonna eat well and have a blast." The table across from us got loud. Suddenly, a phone appeared in front of my face, and a girl's voice chirped from above. "Hey, can I get your number?" I looked up. When the girl saw my face, her eyes went wide. She looked like she'd seen a monster. "Liam Miller," she gasped. The sound of a chair scraping harshly against the floor followed immediately. Sophie was already marching toward us. She looked panicked, probably afraid I was about to punch Ryan. If this were high school, I might have. I used to have a temper like a powder keg. I was insanely protective of Sophie back then. When Ryan first transferred to our school, he was always hovering around her, asking for help with homework. He would follow her after school, claiming he was new to the area and didn't know his way around. Back then, I couldn't stand it. "If you're lost, ask your roommate," I told him once. "I heard him ask if you wanted to go to the food trucks earlier, and you said no. Why are you obsessed with following her?" Before I could say anything else, Ryan turned pale, his eyes welling up with tears. He looked terrified. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just had more questions for Sophie and didn't want to keep her waiting." He hung his head, his shoulders shaking. I actually felt a pang of guilt, thinking I'd been too harsh. I was about to apologize when Sophie sighed. She looked at me, but her words were for him. "Liam, why do you have to be so mean to everyone who talks to me?" The apology died in my throat. I stared at her, my own eyes stinging with frustration. You're taking his side?" She rubbed her temples. "I'm not taking sides. You're just being extra." I was the one who chased Sophie. I was the one who loved her first. Looking back, she probably only agreed to date me because I wore her down. "Liam? Why didn't you tell me you were in Austin?" Her voice brought me back to the present. "Did you come here to see me?" Her eyes were shining with genuine excitement. Kyle held a napkin over his mouth, looking at me, then blinked hard. I bit my lip. "It's hard to explain that you flew 1,000 miles just to help your bro catch a cheater." "Yeah," I said coldly. "Liam, long time no see," Ryan said, stepping up beside Sophie. They looked like a matched set. Before I could say anything, Sophie rushed to explain. She grabbed my hand. "Liam, I didn't know he was coming. His roommate is dating my friend." Ryan's smile faltered. He gave Sophie a hurt look, then turned to me with a bitter grin. "Yeah, Liam, don't get the wrong idea. We're really just friends." In the past, Ryan's "it's not what it looks like" act would have infuriated me, but that was back when I cared. Now, I just realized how transparent he was. I pulled my hand out of hers. I just wanted to finish my dinner. "I get it. I'm not misunderstanding anything. Just go back to your table. You're blocking the aisle." Sophie turned pale. "Liam, my friend and I are hungry. Are you guys just gonna stand here?" I asked, my voice flat. Sophie opened her mouth, but only one word came out. "Okay." The rest of the meal was awkward. I could feel their table staring at us the whole time. When we finished, Kyle and I paid and headed for the door. Sophie chased after me, grabbing my arm. "Are you mad?" she asked, her voice frantic. "I can explain. I really didn't know he'd be there tonight." I stopped, forced by her grip. Kyle glanced between us and cleared his throat. "Liam, I'll head back to the hotel and wait for you. I rolled my wrist to try and get loose, but Sophie wouldn't let go. Fine, I told Kyle. Once he was gone, I yanked my arm back hard. Make it quick. What do you want? Sophie stared at her empty hand for a moment. She looked like she had a million things to say, but instead she just threw her arms around me, burying her face in my chest. I missed you so much, she whispered. I looked down the long Austin street and felt nothing but a cold, silent laugh. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ryan watching us, his eyes red and his fists clenched. I didn't feel any satisfaction. I just remembered something someone once asked me. When love hits a dead end, what's left? You've been ignoring me for so long, Sophie said, looking up at me. Did I do something wrong? Austin in November is still warm. It felt like summer back home. If anyone was wrong, it was me. I shouldn't have fallen for her, and I definitely shouldn't have begged her to be my girlfriend. I'm tired, Sophie. I'm going back, I sighed, brushing her hand off my shoulder. Her expression dimmed, but then she forced a smile. Okay, I'll walk you back. Tomorrow I'll show you around. There are so many cool spots. You sent me that video of a pottery class once. There's a studio near here. Let's go tomorrow, okay? Back in the day, I was always the one planning dates. Sophie was always not really interested. She didn't realize that when you love someone, you want to spend every second with them. I would have happily sat in a library for hours just to be near her. I remember telling her about a new dessert shop near our high school once. Ryan had turned around from the desk in front of us, looking concerned. Sophie's grades dropped on the last mock exam. The teacher just called her into the office. Translation: don't distract her from studying. I had let go of her arm immediately. We weren't in the same class, and since she was still ranked first, I hadn't noticed a dip. Sophie had sighed then. It's not your fault, Liam. The math section was just brutal. The teacher was just talking about my time management. I stopped bothering her after that, afraid I was a distraction. By the next exam, her scores were back to normal. She came to find me then. Are you throwing a tantrum? Ryan didn't know the whole story. He just thought I was struggling. I told you it wasn't your fault, she said. I remember looking at her sadly. Sophie, why do I always have to be the one to find you? Can't you ever come to me? She had frozen, and I never got an answer. Back then, she probably thought I'd never leave. She thought my devotion was just a given. Back in the present, I gave a faint smile. Sure, whatever. She walked me to the hotel. As I turned to go inside, she called my name. Sophie is beautiful. That ice queen look that I used to find so charming because she was actually different once you got to know her. I turned around, and she stepped up on her toes to kiss me. By the time I realized I should push her away, she was pulling back, breathless. She kissed my cheek. Go on up. I'll pick you up tomorrow, she said. I walked away, frowning. In the room, Kyle was already out of the shower and eating takeout. He looked at me. You and your girl have a fight? I dropped my bag. No. Oh, we're basically over. His jaw dropped. She cheated? With that guy at the restaurant? I looked at my phone. Sophie was blowing it up with texts. Not exactly. She just doesn't love me that much. Let's go back to Chicago tomorrow. Done, Kyle said, nodding as he ate a chicken wing. Booking the flights now. I never want to see this city again. Standing in the bathroom, I closed my eyes. I thought I was over her, but the dull ache in my chest told me otherwise. I really did love her once. Before I met her, I was just another rich kid his stepmom was trying to spoil into uselessness. I didn't care about anything but having fun. I only got into our prep school because my dad donated a whole new wing. I met Sophie junior year. She was my desk mate. Once I took a week off to go see a tournament overseas. When I got back, Sophie looked pissed. There was a mountain of homework on my desk. "Hey, I got you some gifts from the trip," I said. "Take them back," she said without looking up. "What?" she glared at me. "Do you even plan on graduating, Liam? Who takes a week off for a game? You're failing half your classes, and when you are here, you're just on your phone." I didn't care about school. My stepmom always told me my dad had a multi-million-dollar company waiting for me. I just had to be happy. But Sophie gave me an ultimatum. "Either start studying or I'm asking to move desks. You're a distraction." I panicked and promised to change. From that day on, every time I reached for my phone, she'd give me that look. "Don't make me move, Sophie," I'd say. "I was just looking up an answer." I relied on her for everything. I laugh at myself now, knowing that if she had told me she was going to Austin, I would have followed her there in a heartbeat. The next day, as soon as we landed in Chicago, my phone started buzzing. Sophie was calling and texting non-stop. Back at the dorm, I sat and read them. Desperation and anxiety. I wondered if she was finally feeling what I felt. I sent a brief text. "Something came up. Forgot to tell you." The typing bubble appeared instantly. She must have deleted and retyped a dozen times. "It's okay. We have a game in Chicago in a few days. I'll come find you then. Are you back at school? Liam, why didn't you ask me yesterday if I'm still talking to him?" I scoffed. She used to hate it when I asked that. "Can you stop being so paranoid? Do you want something to be going on?" Now that I didn't care, she was practically begging me to be jealous. Back in Austin, Sophie's roommate came into their dorm. "Wait, Sophie, why are you here? Weren't you supposed to be with your boyfriend?" Sophie bit her lip. He had to leave. The roommate frowned. "Without telling you? That's kind of a jerk move." She paused. "Did you guys fight?" Sophie just shook her head. She felt a wave of self-pity. Liam wouldn't even argue with her anymore. He didn't pick up, and his texts were days apart. You can't even have a fight if the other person won't engage. She scrolled through their history. Since the semester started, he'd been a ghost. "Girl, are you sure he doesn't have a new girlfriend?" the roommate asked. "No way," Sophie snapped. "Liam loved her too much to ever look at someone else. You sure? You haven't seen him in months until yesterday. You didn't even go out for the holidays." Sophie stopped listening. Her heart sank. She had offered to visit him multiple times, but he always said he was busy. Eventually, he'd told her to stop asking. Was he still that mad about her choosing Austin? The truth was, the night college applications were due, Ryan had sent me a video. In the video, Sarah asked Sophie, "You really picked UT? Are you serious? You're going to be halfway across the country from Liam for 4 years." In the dim light of the party, Sophie had taken a sip of her drink and looked down. "It won't be 4 years. We'll break up." "What? Did you guys fight? I know he's possessive, but you've dealt with it for 3 years." Someone else laughed. "That's the point. She's dealt with it for 3 years, and she's done." Sophie had just shaken her head. "I just don't think I love him that much." Ryan had messaged me later. "Liam, if I had met her first, you wouldn't have stood a chance." I had sat at my computer that night looking at my first choice school in Chicago. I filled in every school in the city. Before that video, I had been so excited for our life together. I knew I wasn't perfect and I was trying to change for her. But you can't change the fact that someone doesn't love you. My heart died the moment I saw that video. Now my inbox is always full. Sophie's messages usually get buried at the bottom. I'm doing great in Chicago. Life goes on. Kyle dragged me to volunteer at a campus event to get some community service hours. At the gym, I saw a familiar face. Mia Brooks tipped her chin at me. "Hey there," she said. "Back for more basketball?" A few months ago, there was this massive exposed thread on campus. Some girl had been dating 10 guys at once. Her main boyfriend found out, made a whole PowerPoint presentation with receipts, and put her on blast. Mia, who went to the tech school nearby, somehow got caught in the, crossfire. She spent weeks on social media trying to clear her name, swearing she wasn't part of it. The thread was so viral that no one believed her. She was posting stuff like, "I am straight, I like men, I have never even met this girl." Her account got banned. I had been following the drama because the girl at the center of it was in my major. Mia was actually pretty legendary on the missed connections pages because she's stunning, like head-turning beautiful. She used to post, "Guys can hit me up, but girls please stop. I'm straight, I promise." Her friends eventually made it worse by saying she'd never had a boyfriend, which made everyone think she was closeted. I'm a campus lifestyle vlogger, and during a live stream, she DM'd me. "Please help me. I'm Mia from the tech school. I'm desperate. I only played basketball with that girl once. I'm not her secret girlfriend. Can you please explain the timeline in one of your videos?" The drama had been going on for weeks. Even the guy who made the PowerPoint cleared her name, but the rumors wouldn't die. I told her I'd try. I mentioned it in a "Get Ready With Me" video, and since it got a lot of views, the rumor finally fizzled out. She practically called me her savior after that. "It was just a scrimmage," she said now, waving a hand. "I don't even add girls on social media anymore. Too risky." Kyle was stifling a laugh. After the game, we went out to eat, and I got a notification for a package. I assumed it was a brand deal, but when I got back to the dorm, I found several boxes from Austin. I went online and ordered a watch of equal value to send back to her. While I was checking out, she called. I hesitated, then answered. "Liam, you got the packages?" Sophie's voice was tentative, almost pleading. "Do you like them? There are some Austin specialties in there, different from the last ones I sent." "Yeah, thanks," I said. "I have to go." "Wait," she rushed. "Liam, we haven't talked in so long. Can we just talk?" "I'm busy, bye." The room was quiet after I hung up. Kyle asked softly, "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "You need to have feelings for someone to actually fight with them." I opened the last box. It was a hand-knitted hat and gloves. There was a note. "Liam, Chicago is getting cold. I learned how to knit these for you. Please don't be mad. I promise I'll come to Chicago for grad school. Just wait for me." I stared at the note. I remembered asking her once, "Sophie, it's freezing. Can you knit me a scarf or something?" I'd seen a video of a girl doing it for her boyfriend. She had been playing pool at the time and didn't even look up. "Stop watching those stupid TikToks." If she had even said she'd try, I would have been happy. But she wouldn't even humor me. When the first snow hit Chicago, I was out taking photos for my channel. Mia was there, looking like she belonged on a magazine cover. She waved and walked over. "Hey, what are you doing?" "Taking photos," I said, feeling a bit self-conscious about my poses now that she was watching. "Need help? I have my camera. I can take some shots for you. Consider it paying back the favor." "I don't know," I joked. "You're blocking my light." "Are you doubting my skills?" She showed me her phone. "Look at these self-portraits. Pure fire." Okay. Give it a shot." A few minutes later, I was looking at a bunch of photos that were either blown out, pitch black, or super grainy. I glared at her. "You said you knew what you were doing." She rubbed her nose, looking guilty. "My brother makes it look so easy. I just wanted to help." I started packing up. She kept apologizing. "I'm so sorry. Let me buy you dinner. What do you want?" "Just get me some takeout from that place on the east side," I said. Sure. Where's your car? Didn't you bring your scooter? I asked. Mia got fired up. Someone stole it. I've been hitching rides with my roommate all week. I looked at her, wondering if she was cursed. Forget it, I'll just order DoorDash. No, let me try again. I can do this. I passed calculus. I can figure out a camera. She sat on the ground and started Googling camera settings. I was stuck waiting in the snow. The lake wasn't frozen yet, but ice was floating on the surface. I was looking around when I saw two people walking toward us. A girl was looking down at her phone, making a call. When she looked up, Sophie froze. She stared at me and Mia like we were a crime scene. Ryan, who was right behind her, put a hand over his mouth, though he couldn't hide the spark of triumph in his eyes. Liam, who is that? Ryan asked, acting shocked. Mia was still buried in the camera settings, oblivious. Don't you have any friends of your own? I asked coldly. But you're alone with her, Ryan stammered. I smirked. Are you not a person? Or is she not a person? What's the difference? That's not the same, Ryan said. He looked to Sophie for help. Sophie took a deep breath, her eyes red. She stormed over and grabbed my hand. We need to talk. I couldn't shake her off. Mia finally realized what was happening. Who are you? She asked, frowning. It's fine, I told Mia. Just hold the camera for a second, thanks. Sophie, you're hurting my wrist. Let go. She pulled me to a secluded spot. Her eyes were brimming with tears. Who is she? Is she why you've been ignoring me? I told you. She's a friend. Just a friend. You're sitting by the lake in the snow with a friend. Do you think I'm stupid? Sophie hissed. I stayed silent. Liam, I'm talking to you. Who is she? After a moment, Sophie's grip softened. She rubbed the red marks on my wrist. I'm sorry. I was just scared. I know you aren't that kind of guy. Scared of what? Scared, she whispered, the snow landing on her hair. Scared of losing you. Losing me? I felt a surge of bitter amusement. Sophie kept rubbing my wrist, her voice soft. Liam, I'm not doing grad school. I'm working on an app with some friends, and we're going to base the company in Chicago. We can get an apartment together. We can get a cat, or a dog, or both. I listened to her describe this beautiful future. It was tragic. While she was finally planning a life with me, I had already planned my life without her. It was exactly what I used to dream about back when she told her friends she didn't love me that much. Do we even have a future? I asked. Yes. She grabbed my arms. Of course we do. I'm working for it now. But Sophie, I smiled, and it felt like a small, cold victory. Didn't our future end the day applications were due? She went pale. What? No. You said it yourself, I said, watching her face crumble. You said you didn't love me that much. You went to Austin to get away from me. I felt tears prickling my eyes. This is the path you chose, isn't it? You knew? Her voice was a ghost of itself. I'm sorry, Liam. Please, I regretted it the second I hit submit. I thought I didn't love you. I thought it was just because we'd been together so long. She was sobbing now. Austin was miserable without you. No one told me about the good food or showed me funny things. You stopped answering. I realized I didn't know anything about your life here. I was so scared you'd move on. I realized you aren't the one who can't live without me. I'm the one who can't live without you. Please don't break up with me. She reached for my hand. I shook my head. That's not what love is. If you love someone, you don't break their heart on purpose. You don't choose to be thousands of miles away just to see if you can. I turned to look at the lake. Sophie stood beside me, her voice hoarse. Don't leave me, Liam. I love you. I really do. The wind whipped around us. Sophie had been my world for 3 years. I remembered the night before the big senior track meet. The school had bought fireworks. As the sun went down, they lit up the sky. My classroom was right above hers. Everyone was out on the balcony. I had been leaning against the wall, the cold wind stinging my eyes. I wished so hard she would come up to see me. Her class was the honor track, so they usually didn't get to leave their desks. But then a small, warm hand had slipped into mine. I looked over, startled. Sophie was there in her school jacket, looking up at the fireworks with a tiny smile, pretending it was no big deal. That night was beautiful. We hid our linked hands behind our backs and watched the show. But fireworks fade. The love I had for her was gone, scattered by the wind of that final summer. We broke up that winter. I didn't know if I felt relieved or just empty. My old friends were shocked. "But you were obsessed with her," they said. After graduation, I didn't stay in Chicago. I moved to Denver for an internship. Sophie actually moved to Chicago, but she couldn't find me. She didn't know my friends or my circles. I saw a video online once that said, "Love has a jet lag. By the time I fell for you, your love was already at 0. On New Year's Eve, a call came from a Chicago number. I answered. It was silent. I'd been working late, and my eyes were blurry. "Hello?" Nothing. Then a text from Mia popped up. "If you see a snowman outside your office, don't kick it. It might be your girlfriend." "Happy New Year, Liam." Sophie's voice finally came through, sounding broken. I hung up immediately and blocked the number. I walked out of the office at 11:55 p.m. Mia was standing there, brushing snow off her head. "Can't ruin the hair," she muttered. "Took forever." She looked up, saw me, and beamed. She ran over and pulled me into a hug. As the clock struck midnight, she leaned in and kissed me. "Happy New Year." I looked into her eyes. Happy New Year. Sophie's perspective. Ever since starting college, Sophie felt like something was missing. She tried to ignore it. She made new friends, joined clubs, and explored Austin. She finally realized what it was during a sorority hangout. Her senior was on her phone for 20 minutes. Someone teased her. "Reporting to the boyfriend again?" "I have to. If I don't reply, it's a whole world war later." Sophie looked at the back and forth texts on the senior's screen. She looked at her own phone. Her last chat with Liam was her telling him she was in Austin. He never replied. That was the first time she realized he was truly angry, but she thought he was easy to win back. She'd just send him some gifts later. Then she saw his Instagram post. He had a new haircut, a cool jacket, and a bright smile. Her heart ached. The thousands of miles between them suddenly felt real. She didn't know who he was hanging out with or what he was doing. They were strangers. Wasn't this what she wanted? She texted him. "Where is that? Looks cool." It felt awkward. She sent it and waited. The guy who used to reply in seconds didn't answer all day. He used to be so excited to share everything with her. "Sophie, you texted me first. I'm so happy." Her eyes stung. "Why aren't you answering me?" she sent the next morning. Eventually, the silence became unbearable. She thought he was just being petty. She typed, "Let's just break up." She wanted him to panic. She wanted him to come crawling back. But the girl who was so sure he'd love her forever was suddenly terrified. What if he found someone else in Chicago? She regretted coming to Austin, but it was too late. She tried to call. He wouldn't pick up. He had vanished from her life. Finally, he sent one text. Too many messages at the start of the semester. Missed it. She felt like she could breathe again. Her roommate teased her. "Back together?" We never broke up, Sophie said, smiling. She sent a wall of text. How's Chicago? Are you busy? Can I visit? Or do you want to come to Austin? There's this dessert place you'd love. Nothing. Silence again. When she finally saw him at the hot pot place, she wanted to scream. She wanted to hug him. He said he came to find her, but she saw it in his eyes. He hadn't. Ryan was there, and for the first time she wanted Liam to be jealous. She wanted him to demand to know why Ryan was there. But the Liam who only had eyes for her was gone. He had loved her too much, and now he had taken it all back. On New Year's Eve, she stood outside his old office building in Chicago, hiding behind the bushes. She saw another woman pull him into a hug. She saw her kiss him. Sophie felt like a ghost watching someone else live her life. She could barely breathe through the tears. She wished she could go back to that summer and tell her younger self, apply to Chicago. You love him. You really, really love him.